Good afternoon, New Zealand, and welcome to Kiwi Cable with Paula Kalksma this evening on Thursday, the 15th of January 2015. I am so excited to be here today with you and my wonderful guest, Jacoooob.
Jacoooob.
How are you doing today, Jake?
I'm doing great. How are you, Jacoooob?
Excellent. I'm so happy that you could make it out here today. So, you've been in New Zealand for a little over 10 days now.
11, to be precise.
Oh.
Not counting. Who's counting, right, guys?
And what are some of your first initial impressions?
Well, the countryside, it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like Delaware. Delaware's a little flat. But other than that, the food, it's creeping me out a little, I'll be honest.
Okay.
Creeping me out.
We'll get back to that in a moment.
Yeah,
but one of the bigger things that we've been here with our professors. Professor Schuster.
University.
We really haven't been around your professors for such a long period of time. So what have you been learned or would like to express about being with your professors for such a long period, extended time?
Schuster and I, we're like this. We are peas to pods, apples to pears, honey to Jacoooob, any one under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
He gets me. We can speak with our eyes. That's all we need.
Oh, wonderful.
Goodwin, badminton. Our souls connected when we played badminton.
I heard about this little competition that you guys had. Would you like to elaborate a bit more on that?
Yeah, I beat Goodwin pretty bad. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, great. So going back to sort of the food issue with New Zealand, or maybe not just New Zealand, maybe located.
The locale.
Yeah. Would you like to
It
elaborate?
rhymes with Rinkin University. Yeah.
What have been some of the issues? I heard there's a plague spreading.
The Kiwi plague.
The Kiwi plague.
The Kiwi plague. It's taken some of our finest, Tommy, Zach, Andy, Jacoooob. It's not good.
It's devastating.
Goodwin gets into great detail. I'll spare everybody, but don't eat the eggs. Do not eat the eggs.
Do not eat the eggs.
Do not eat the eggs. Go with my peach diet.
Wonderful. And one more major point I would like to talk about with you today is the public transportation system. I've heard you guys have had some interesting encounters transporting yourselves to and from local pubs and bars.
Well, there was karaoke night last night.
Oh, okay.
Naturally. Me and my boys, single ladies. Just a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And somebody, once again, I'm not going to say, rhymes with Jacoooob. She was saying that 1124 was the bus. There was a little miscommunication. We had to do some haggling. Taxi driver, Robert, tried making conversation. He wasn't about it. He had this stereotype about Americans probably, but we're here to change it. We're here to change the stereotype.
Here to change that stereotype.
Yep.
Great. And anything else you'd like to add so far on your venture here in New Zealand?
I'm ready to keep it going. 3 weeks left. Got some glaciers to hike, the Kepler, some badminton to keep beating Goodwin in. It's going to be fun.
Great. Thank you so much, Jake.
Thank you, Jacoooob.
And thank you. We'll be back soon. Welcome back, everyone. Now I have my wonderful guest, Lindsey. Thank you, Lindsey, for coming out today.
Thanks for having me, Paula.
Great. So you're on this trip actually as a health behavior science major, someone in the behavioral health and nutrition department, which is just awesome. And as a HBS major here in the BHAN program, what are some of your impressions of actually taking the courses here, and tell me a little bit about the courses and how this will pertain to what you want to do later in life?
Okay, yeah, so far in my major, we haven't really talked about community health. We've talked more about physiological health. And so I was still pretty much trying to figure out what I want to do with my major, because I know I like to help people be healthy, but I wasn't sure exactly where to go with that. So taking the community health course has kind of opened my eyes to the public health and how you can work in the community to help people with the kind of things that I like to help people with fitness and nutrition and things along those lines. So I think that taking this course here in New Zealand has really given me an interesting perspective on what I can do with my major and work in community health, whether it's in another country or in the US. I'm finding it really interesting talking about epidemiology and disease prevention and all those kind of topics that are really relevant both here and in the US.
Great, awesome. So the other course that you guys are taking is global physical activity. And one of the major sports and cultural is, for here in New Zealand, cultural sports is cricket. And I know in class you guys have been exposed to watching cricket and learning the rules of cricket. what are your initial thoughts on, cricket here? Because it's not something very popular back in the U.S.
It's not. I had absolutely no idea what cricket was until I came here. I had heard of it, but I had never seen it played before. And so when we first got here, there was a few teams from around the country that were practicing cricket here. We got to watch a couple of their games, and a few people, our professor, some of the coaches, even the bartender actually was trying to explain it to us. And I think a lot of people had a hard time getting into it. I think a lot of the people on our trip saw it as sort of boring. And at first I understood where they were coming from. I thought it was a little bit slow. But after speaking with one of the players and kind of asking him about it, why do you do cricket? What is it that you get out of it? He mentioned that, yes, it's a really slow sport. Sometimes it can last up to 5 days, but that's kind of the whole point, is that it's a mental battle, and it's the endurance and the mental strength that you have to go through such a long sport for so long. And when he said that, it kind of gave me an appreciation of the sport. I was like, I get this now. It's not so much the physical aspect of it as it is the mental. And so when he said that, I found a new respect for cricket, and I think it's something that I'll take with me after this experience.
That's really insightful. I was actually talking to a younger child. We went to dinner with a Kiwi family, and their 9-year-old son, he plays soccer, he's interested in American football, rugby, and obviously plays cricket too. And I asked him, which is his favorite sport out of all these ones that he plays? And he said cricket. And I asked him, what specifically? And he said, I like it because everyone gets a chance to do everything, and no one player is necessarily more important than the other. So I really like that perspective from a 9-year-old little boy.
Very insightful.
Yeah, I kind of see what kind of gentleman he'll grow up to be.
Yeah.
But one last question for you. What are some of your initial thoughts on the cricket players themselves? Some of them are quite muscular.
They're different than the U.S. boys. Especially, I think, when it comes to the athleticism and the working out. I think American boys are more about how they look. And I think that the cricket players especially, and I've seen it in a lot of men here, is that they're a little bit more about the actual fitness than they are just about how they look. It's not so much of an aesthetics thing, but it is more of the health and the strength. And you could see that in a lot of them. They had the strong legs. They were very, they seemed like they cared about their health and their fitness, and so that was interesting. And they're very nice guys. They really are. They were very friendly with us, very welcoming. They were ready to experience our culture and tell us a little about theirs, and I think it was a good experience for our group to really get to know people of our own age in a different culture, and they were able to give that experience to us, and I really appreciated that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Lindsey. And thank you, everyone out there on Kiwi Cable. We hope you have a lovely afternoon. I'm Paula Kalksma. Have a great day.
Jacoooob.